Welcome to episode 95 of the OVW podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. My name is Jack Minogues.
My name is Brian Hines, and I have made sure that my phone is on silent.
Good.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Isn't it?
Today we're getting into all the action from OVW Rise, a.k.a. OVW TV 1339, emanating live from legendary Hot Point Davis Arena, originally on April 10th, 2025. But first, well, this is where we plug interviews and stuff. We don't have any upcoming interviews. We did have that one last week that went up with Al.
Yes.
Short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly short for an Al Snow interview.
Yeah.
That was kind of just covering the Morley Sports Management merger with OVW.
Right.
And then we did have, for what it's worth, had a string of really great interviews with Isaiah Josh Ashcraft and Cash Daniel, who made his Leo Fox, right?
Whose shirt I am wearing today, in case you are watching on YouTube. If not, listen to what my shirt sounds like.
Yeah, between Leo, Cash, Isaiah, and Josh, the last 4 interviews have been really, really good. Go catch up with those. Cash, of course, made his OVW debut this episode. We'll be sure to jump into that. And then all the great interviews that we've had over the last couple of years. Go check them all out. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Let's, I guess, go ahead and jump into, this might be on the shorter side of an episode, even though there was a lot of meat on the bone for OVW this past week.
Well,
might be a shorter episode on our end. So let's go ahead and jump into the tour updates.
So it's summertime. Tour season's coming up. We're not going to be able to get to all of these shows.
Right.
So if you happen to get to a show, please feel free to take pictures. Please feel free to tag us in them when you post them online, or post them in the fan zone if you so prefer. We will totally give you credit for it. But
we use the magic box now more than ever.
Yeah.
So
we'd love to start putting pictures from events and things.
That's very true. That applies to you, Matthew, especially.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We know Matthew. I'll get Matthew to send us some shots from tonight, and I'm assuming he'll be at one of the 2 shows this Friday or next Friday too.
Let's see. I talked to him. I think he'll be at one, but I can't remember which one. But he definitely said he would be there this evening. So we're looking forward to getting some great shots from him.
Yeah, we'll definitely, and all of our listeners. But yes. Matthew, we know he's got the juice. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So every Thursday you can catch OVW Rise at Hot Point Davis Arena.
Except this Thursday, obviously.
Except for this Thursday, obviously. This would be the exception and not the rule. What do they call it tonight? Tuesday Thunder?
The Tuesday night tradition resumes.
But there's not an actual name for it?
I don't think so, no.
No, it just used to always be on Tuesdays.
Interesting. All right, then carry on. OVW Appalachian Armageddon, Pikeville, Kentucky, is part of the legendary Hillbilly Days Festival on April 25th. OVW Run for the Roses or Run for the Ropes?
Run for the ropes.
Yeah,
because the Run for the Roses is the Derby.
Right.
All right. I still need to get one of those damn glasses.
Let's see.
I guess I got to get his Pegasus passes. I think I kind of want to go to that Run for the Ropes.
Interesting.
Pretty sure that just like all Derby Week events, that is free with your Pegasus pass, even though I've not actually seen
I will actually be out of town.
Oh, well.
Yep.
Interesting. We shall have to see. That is also Friday, April 25th. OVW Shamrock Slam at St. Martha Parish, Louisville, Kentucky, May 16th. OVW Rumble at the Raceway Series, Ponderosa Speedway in Junction City, Kentucky, Saturday, May 17th, June 21st, and July 19th. OVW Saturday Night Special, Hot Point Davis Arena, June 14th. Free all ages show at Element Eatery, Cincinnati, Ohio. That is on June 28th. Lexington, Kentucky, one of our favorite shows of the year, at the Manchester Music Hall on July 5th. And finally, OVW Independence Rage at Hot Point Davis Arena on July 26th. You can get tickets to any and all of these events at OVWTix.com.
And without further ado, we will be back right after this.
Hey, folks. We're Homefront is going to be back later this week. We have new interviews, new musicians. We're going to be actually getting into some wrestling stuff on Homefront, hopefully, assuming that the guests we have booked actually come through and we're able to talk to them.
So that's next week, right?
That would be part of next week, then the show after this one. But, yeah, we're pretty excited, moving along, slowly kind of coming back to life on Homefront, but looking forward to bringing you the greatest Kentucky music and stories that we are able to find. Check us out at bluegrasshomefront.com. And until then, now back to the.
Don't we have the other people?
Not this week.
Okay.
We have a couple of reads with them, but they are there. You can note them there on screen.
Sure.
But,
Sure.
Yeah, we do the reads later. Yes, we can point at signs. But without further ado,
It's a long-standing tradition
Yes, it is.
in and around OVW to point at signs.
It certainly is. Without any other ado, now back to the OVW podcast already in progress.
All right, so we open up this week with a recap, as we kind of do every week, right?
Right.
This one, though, kind of seems like a make good on last week, considering that if you were watching in Davis Arena or watching on YouTube, you saw the end, which was Sophia being driven through a table by J-Rod.
Yes, correct.
But on broadcast, you would have missed it. Kind of, this is a thing that's happened over wrestling history at certain times. I think WCW gave away the end of a pay-per-view on a Nitro once because the pay-per-view feed cut off. This isn't quite as tragic as that, but it's much in that same vein. So we kind of have a make good. And since we didn't show it on our show last week, let's go ahead and see J-Rod putting Sophia through that table. This is, of course, going to be the impetus for the tables match at Appalachian Armageddon.
Sophia Rose gets the old "that's my purse, I don't know you" treatment from J-Rod, and then takes the ride through the table, unfortunately.
Brutal. Hard way to start a championship run. We'll move on to our first match of the evening, though. That was between the Kansas Outlaws, not the Kansas City Outlaws, but the Kansas Outlaws. It's a mistake I think I've made, and I think maybe got made a time or two on commentary.
Really? I thought it was Kansas.
Am I
City
losing my
Outlaws.
mind?
No, the Chiron said Kansas, the Kansas ones. I went and checked.
I just want us all to be on the same page. I don't want to.
Okay, well, I know that Linda pointed out that they were from Kansas, so I thought that they were Kansas City. But anyway.
Maybe they're
Kansas-
from the Missouri part of Kansas City.
But that would make them the Missouri Outlaws.
No, but that doesn't have quite the same ring to it.
No, it does not.
Not at
Honestly,
all.
I think Kansas City Outlaws sounds better, but Kansas Outlaws is what was written on the Chiron, so that's what I've put in your notes. Before we
Interesting.
get deeply into this, speaking of commentary, can we talk a little bit about one Mr. Brian W. Kennison?
Is that his middle name? You didn't have to
I
put
have
his
no
middle
idea what
name
his,
out.
I have
Like that.
no idea what his middle name is.
It's tax season. We don't need to be putting people's government names out there like that.
I don't know if y'all noticed, but the boy has turned heel.
Yeah, I noticed.
To quote Jim Cornette, he's a heel.
Yeah, very Healy this year, or this episode. Healy Dan.
I'm hoping that's a new thing. I really enjoyed it.
It was funny though, like the way that he did it. It was more like he just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Like it was like less like like dastardly or with malintent, and more just like I'm kind of having a bad day today.
Yeah,
Just crabby Kennison.
Yeah.
I was fine with that.
Good
Brad
stuff.
did a great job.
Good stuff though. So what we've seen over the last couple of weeks that Maximo Suave is here to dance. He loves dancing. He doesn't mind getting down in the middle of the ring. The Kansas Outlaws. See, there we go. Damn it.
Yep.
The Kansas Outlaws. They aren't. The only dancing they want to do is like when. What's the cowboy from Looney Tunes called?
Yosemite Sam.
And he'd be like shooting the ground, making people dance.
Yeah.
That's the only kind of dancing that the Kansas Outlaws are concerned with. Let's see that.
Yeah, I love this.
Maximo's always kind of willing to play people's game,
It's like, hey,
at
you
the
wanna-
beginning of matches before we.
Hit him with the old finger guns right off the bat.
It's good stuff.
They had new music too, by the way. Oh, there was a draw. Wow.
Yeah, see? And then, look, watch this.
Hoda's fingers gun stuck. Pocket's a little small.
That's what happens when you wear them tight bridges.
And up and over.
Well played, sir.
This is something that we've seen Maximo do a couple of times. Is he'll play the game kind of long enough until someone's comfortable. He has them a little distracted, and then the wrestling match starts.
Yeah.
Really,
Expert move.
really love kind of the presentation of Los Desafios here as well. They are looking more and more like a tag team, and I think that Hoda Peso is looking less and less like a Jay De Niro kind of riff.
The blue tie really, really ties everything together.
And
so to speak.
I like that as a progression. I think I was always curious as Los Desafios has kind of become more established, like more minted. Are we gonna go back to Manny Domingo? Like, doesn't But I do think that like the slight character changes does put a lot of distance in between him and Jay De Niro, especially at a time where Jay De Niro is going through a lot of character change as well.
Yes.
The kind of bold colored tie with they're not as reminiscent of each other anymore.
No.
But
I mean, there for a while, you couldn't tell them apart.
I know, it was weird.
Yeah.
It was very weird. Let's go ahead and see the pinning maneuver here. This is a great little match. We know that the Kansas Outlaws are new to the scene. Maximo Suave and Hoda Peso are anything but new to the scene. And you got to kind of imagine from like a kayfabe perspective, like the Kansas City Outlaws or Kansas Outlaws know that like this is one of the more congruent teams, and they know that they're going to have to come out and show like their tag team chemistry.
Yeah.
And for me, that was kind of one of the stories of the match, is that like, yeah, these guys know each other, they're cousins, came through the academy together, but they just aren't quite cemented yet.
Not quite.
A lot of vibe.
We had Peso there for the win, obviously. So let's go ahead and talk about the Star Rider thing.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room,
or
the clown in the room.
So the Star Rider thing was advertised on the internet and was in the thumbnail for the show. We really needed, this was a important moment, right? And it's very rare that like a talking segment gets advertised like in the thumbnail for the show or on the Instagram.
Yeah, that's
right?
the exception and not the rule in most cases.
Star Rider's really going through it.
Yeah.
Needless to say. Spends a lot of time kind of cowered in the corner, laughing, screaming, really giving it 110%. Like,
this is one of the best promos I've seen in OVW.
He was unsettling.
Yeah, quite unsettling.
Great job from the production team here as well. Just really, really going over the top with the lighting.
The lighting was spectacular in this scene,
and the cameras were really, really smart to kind of get down on his level with the shot in the ring here.
What Shakespearean play is it where the guy has the skull and he's talking directly to the skull?
Hamlet.
Yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah, very Hamlet-esque.
The Yorick, Dear Yorick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, actually, I love that as a call. Just kind of a madman, like the soliloquy of a madman.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of talking segments throughout this entire kind of episode of OVW. But every one of them was like markedly different with a totally different presentation, which kept them all moving very, very quickly.
Yeah, and this one for me was the most intense. I mean, the maniacal laughter, talking to an empty mask, the lighting, cowering in the corner, rocking back and forth. I mean, this is, pretty compelling stuff from Star Rider. And
of course, the person who's drawing all of his attention is Super Z, the Rush Division champion.
Yes.
Star Rider is very, very attached to that belt, obviously, growing more concerningly attached to it every day, and every day that he doesn't have it. Good stuff.
He started off by, the thing that caught my attention was he started off by referencing the Nightmare Rumble pay-per-view. Because that was on my birthday, January 4th, and the first thing out of his mouth was January 4th. I was the victim of a crime, so I rewound it and listened to it again and watched. And yeah, this is some pretty intense stuff from Star Rider, and I mean it's great to watch
and smart to bring up a specific date and a specific moment to remind the audience of like, this is how we got here.
Yes.
Like this entire year, this is what I've been building toward, is this from that moment to this moment. Really good stuff here. Let's see. Let's move on, Brian Hines, shall we? Bout 2 of the evening, Freya the Slayer versus Leela Feist.
That is correct. And wow. So we've seen Leela come out week after week. Success to varying degrees, but this is the night where she pulls out all the stops.
Absolutely.
I saw some things I've never seen in a wrestling match before.
I'll go ahead and say it because we'll get to it eventually. Freya ends up taking the victory, but I was very surprised.
Yes.
There was a lot of intensity from Leela Feist, willing to like go there and not just go there, go above it. Like she was born on the line and just had no choice but to cross it, you know? Really, really fantastic stuff.
That's a very good line. Did you quote that from somewhere?
No, I just came up with it, baby.
Born on the line and I was forced to cross it.
Sounds like a movie trailer.
But it doesn't start that way necessarily.
No.
It does look like Freya is going to be able to handle Leela like she's handled so many other people throughout her OVW career.
Yeah, Leela jumping off the top rope, trying to hit Freya with a high cross body. She bounces off of Freya like a child that runs into a car. Just doink.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. She probably needed to go check for a concussion. Probably need to call the pediatrician. She bounces straight off of Freya. Freya is known, as one of the big power move women in the division.
Yeah.
You're going to have to try a little harder than a flying crossbody. So that's exactly what Leela does. She strips the covering off of the... We can go ahead and show it. She strips the covering off of the
turnbuckle.
The turnbuckle, yeah. And puts Freya's fingers straight through it.
The ring to her advantage and puts her fingers in there. And, I mean, I've heard of people that use joint manipulation in matches, but that is next level. I've never seen that before.
Dude, finger stuff is always weird and brutal. Like, no matter on what level or how intense it is, like, it's so incredibly unsettling because I think I've never fallen on my back, right? I say this all the time. I've been saying that for 2 years. I've hurt my effing fingers.
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's why Legos hurt more than thumbtacks in your minds because I've never stepped on a thumbtack. I've stepped on Legos before.
Yeah.
Like I know obviously the visual of thumbtacks is so much more brutal, but for me, a lot of wrestling, and I think for a lot of wrestling fans, what we can understand as actually being impactful is the small stuff.
Yeah, just stuff that happens to everyday people.
And let's go ahead and see that clip again because it kind of skeeves me out. I want to see it one more time. It's pretty gross. Yeah, just straight through. Incredible amount of trust from Freya here to Leela. This is this isn't a top rope maneuver.
Well, it kind of is.
Well, yeah, I guess you're not wrong. This isn't a top rope maneuver. This isn't a 450 moonsault, whatever. But this is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
And this could have very easily gone the wrong way. A lot of trust from Freya to Leela there. And then also,
she does keep working the hand throughout the match. If I had more time, I may have gotten
which
more
is
of that,
a smart move on her part.
That's what you cut me to the chase there. It gives both of them this incredible opportunity throughout the rest of the match, not only for Leela to continue to work over Freya's chokeslam hand, but for Freya to sell it, and not only sell it but overcome it. Here, can we see that clip?
Yeah,
getting around a big
to the
boot.
face.
Still selling, still really favoring that chokeslam hand.
Well, yeah, I imagine
putting the blood
like
back
hell.
into it a little bit, calling for it.
Slapping it to basically work the pain out
trying
of it,
trying to get the blood flowing. And there was a moment where I was like, I think Leela has done enough to maybe get around this. But as soon as I saw her hit the ground, I knew that Freya Slay had taken this one home.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 for Freya there.
But it wasn't for a lack of trying.
No.
This is probably Leela Feist's best performance yet, even though she didn't come out on top.
I mean, kind of week after week, she continues to inch just a little bit, make a little bit more progress. A little bit more progress week after week.
And become just a little bit more heelier.
Oh, it does, definitely.
So I'm interested to see what happens next.
Yeah, and I mean, if she's going to be going around trying to break fingers and whatnot, like, she is a different kind of heel, too, than the other heels in the women's division right now.
Yeah.
She has an opportunity to do something very different right now. Because the world, how do I want to say this? She's not fully defined yet that you can make predictions for how she's going to end up. But if she does start to incorporate these more and more brutal things, I think that she could be just like, because J-Rod the biggest heel in the women's division, basically.
Mhm.
She wins through athleticism.
Yeah.
Do we have a heel on the ladies' side of things that tries to break fingers and choke people and does all of like those type of heel stuff?
I mean, I guess we do now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think we might need it
Yeah.
as well. And Leela Feist could straight up just roll in there and do that.
I appreciate you using the word predictions like a regular person.
Oh, I don't have a tick.
Wow, don't do it.
I hope you haven't been checked.
Quit it. Malachi was over here with his finger on the button.
That's not
of
on
the
this show,
graphic.
Malachi.
No.
Not on this
Not
show.
on this
It's
show.
not
No,
on this
this is the
format.
unofficial show. That's official only.
So I'm actually going to let you, because you are the unofficial Ryan Von Rocket coverage specialist here.
Yes, we see Loud and Lawless backstage before their match, talking with Eric Surge about the recent weeks events, or the events of recent weeks, rather. Do we have that clip?
No, I've actually tried to stay away from the talking clips. Just
That was the
because.
best one. That was
It
the
was
best.
the best one. I don't
So
have-
that's why I was like, dude, let's watch it. It was only like 30 seconds. But the end of it with Ryan Von Rocket trying to explain the 6-man tag math, it was like a verse of "I am the walrus, I am he, as you are he is something something."
That crossed with the 133% chance from. Oh, come on. Who?
Scott Steiner?
Yeah, Scott Steiner's 133% chance math video. But
Well, math is hard.
math is, in fact, hard.
I know. I have to do it all day here. I hate it.
Yeah.
But this ultimately, because last week we saw a little bit of a disagreement between Eric Surge and Jake Lawless.
Yeah,
We just
because
need-
of the interference.
We just need to make sure these guys are on the same page. Seems like they have no beef with each other. Their beef is on the other side of the ring.
That's right.
Good stuff here. I don't like it when the baby faces are mad at each other.
No, I don't either. It's like when
I want them
siblings
to all be
fight.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our one main event, this is, of course, concerns the promo that we just saw. The Revolution on one side with Crixus, AJZ, and Leo Fox, and then, of course, Loud and Lawless with Eric Surge on the other side.
I saw that. Just that one little clip.
So, in terms of where the Revolution...
Wait, hold on. What's his name again? It
Chase.
escapes me right now. Chase. We see Chase sitting ramp side with a sign that says "Crixus fears me." You can't get any better than that.
Well, kindness unsettles Crixus. and
Well, that it does.
as I understand it, that is, in fact, the kindest boy.
That is...
He got an award and everything.
yeah, he did. He did. I'm next time I see him, we're almost near the end of school year. This year, I'll have to ask him if he got any
Oh, that's
superlatives.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anxious to find out.
Me too, actually. I haven't seen him in a little bit. So, in terms of the Revolution, I think Crixus, AJZ, and Leo Fox is like the new unit.
Yeah, it seems like.
Like, they work so well together. There's something like kind of nice about Crixus slotted back into that leadership position that he held in the Revolution prior to his injury.
It fits him so well, and that's where he belongs.
Right, and just having two, in this context, and I don't mean this to the real world people, but to the characters, two goons who are just straight killers coming in to do your bidding. Crixus works very well in that, and AJZ and Leo Fox work very well as those two thugs, right?
Yes.
Really, really, really fantastic stuff from that side of the Revolution. I want to see more of them as a trios.
Yeah, I do too.
So let's go ahead and see our next clip here. Loud and Lawless,
Jake Lawless is in the wrong part of town.
yeah, Jake Lawless spins. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter who was in the ring against the Revolution. They spent most of their time getting the tar beat out of them. We see a lot of the old school stuff, ref distraction whenever Eric Surge tries, the ref's very quick. Daniel Spencer's very quick to get Eric Surge back in the ring, in his corner, but not so quick to get the heels back in their corner.
Yeah.
All of that kind of great wrestling stuff, main event stuff.
Classic heel moves.
The matchup that we all want to see, including Eric Surge himself, though, is Eric Surge and
versus
Crixus.
yeah.
For as big and cool and powerful and strong as Leo Fox and AJZ were throughout all of this, a lot of the attention of this match was waiting on to see what Crixus was going to be capable of.
Yeah,
whenever he got
watch
in the
Eric
ring.
here.
Jake Lawless gets the tag to Ryan Von Rocket. Eric Surge says, "Hold up, I got this."
I mean,
And we finally get to see them step into the ring one-on-one, at least maybe for a second.
No, by the time Eric got even close to him, AJZ and
had already
yeah,
cut the ring in half.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the ring for a second, is what I was saying.
Yes, they were.
We didn't actually get to see what we wanted to see, which means that we still want to see it, and we want to see it even more.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that after this match and last week, that the Crixus Eric Surge
Throw down.
There's going to be a big build-up.
the rivalry is right there.
Yeah.
And I want to see it. I do think that someone like Eric Surge is on his way to championship gold. I do think he needs to have a rivalry with, and ultimately win a rivalry with a guy like Crixus, a guy who's been there before, right? That's the one thing that Eric Surge doesn't have yet.
Yeah.
Is kind of that pedigree of being able to take down former champions and champions at the higher level, right? And so I think that that's where we're going, and I think that that's going to be a lot of fun.
That's a perfect place to be.
Kind
for
of
Eric
a
Surge.
Absolutely kind of a bummer though, and this kind of informs what I just said. Our one bummer here, as Eric actually ends up taking the pin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he thinks
AJZ gets the tag.
AJZ's not the legal man.
Eric
yet.
Surge doesn't see it. He doesn't see Crixus waiting in the corner, and
Highland Heatseeker.
Highland Heatseeker. One, two.
High stack too. Eric Surge was knocked out.
Mm.
Yeah. So our one main event kind of ends with I would say honestly kind of a shock, kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But still a lot of meat on the bone here. I think that we're going to see more of AJZ and Leo Fox together as a tag team, which I love.
Oh, we definitely will.
I think we're going to see more of that tag team coming out of the Revolution versus our tag team champions, Loud and Lawless, which I also love. And I'm also in love with the prospect of Crixus versus Eric Surge.
Yeah, you've got 2 or 3 really great matches to look forward to, and I can't wait. I'm glad that Loud and Lawless are the tag team champions, because I really hope that they have a lot of fun with this summer and make their own tour on the tour stops.
Oh, I'm sure that they will. There's a lot of young ladies to go see in Ryan Von Rocket World, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotta get them on the tour bus.
Glitter abounds.
Ryan Von Rocket does need a tour bus.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
I'm going to start looking on Facebook Marketplace.
That he just parks it out front.
Yeah.
That would be
perfect.
so cool.
Yeah.
Him and Jake Lawless
Get
off
like a
of it.
nice glitter wrap or paint job or something.
Yeah, just glitter wrap the whole damn thing.
I wish
Get the logo
economy-
on the front. Can't stop the rock.
I wish the economy wasn't so bad. We could start a Kickstarter. I'm not gonna ask people to give their money away, their hard-earned money away, to buy Ryan Von Rocket a tour bus in this economy. But man, if it gets a little better over the next few months, I might. We'll just have to see.
Yeah,
They hold
have
on to that gold a while. Maybe they can afford it.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
winner's purse. So our first match of hour 2 was Adam Revolver versus Anthony Tortelli. Here on paper, great match. Match graphic, I was like, oh, I want to see that. Execution, also a great match.
Yeah.
These two guys, Adam Revolver doesn't have bad matches really with anybody. And Anthony Tortelli is still in that stage at his in his OVW career that he's looking to put on a show every single time. Not saying that other people aren't, but Anthony Tortelli's got a wide range of offense, including, and I don't want to show the clip yet, including the finish here that we saw. But much like Eric Surge, the point that I just made about Eric Surge, Anthony Tortelli is also in the position where he needs to start beating some of these guys that have held championship gold in the past to be looked at as more of a legitimate championship contender.
Yeah, he's done a great job working his way up the ranks in OVW men's division, and this was a perfect opportunity for him to do just that.
And Adam Revolver has held pretty much every championship you can think of.
All the titles.
So
except the women's.
In that respect, I think that Anthony Toatelli has made a climb up a rung of the ladder here.
Yeah.
Right? He's moving toward championship gold. Where do you see him? Rush Division champion, media champion?
One of those two, yeah.
I think you'll have to take it off Dustin before you give it to Toatelli. But I think Anthony Toatelli would make a great media champion.
Yeah, he definitely would.
And honestly, with the Star Rider stuff and the Super Z stuff kind of looking like it's here to stay, I don't think that it's the Rush division.
No, they've got their own separate story and pretty big build-up at this point.
But
as a media champion, yeah, definitely.
It'd be fun.
Flo and Samoan.
Be some good stuff. As I said before, Anthony Toatelli, every single time he comes out, it seems like he just has this library of offense, right? Then I saw the finisher from, and I told you, I said, wait till you see this, man. Wait till you see this finish.
I paid special attention when you told me that. And you're right, I've never seen anything quite like it.
Adam Revolver tries to go in for that patented sleeper hold. We see Anthony Toatelli take him over, and then a sideways one knee code breaker. I was like, damn, that was cool, bro.
That was pretty cool. Can we see that one more time?
Yeah. Like,
bam.
And it's small stuff. Is like, do I recognize it as a code breaker? Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
But is it so intentionally different that it kind of, kind of shocks you a little bit? It kind of revives maybe the first time that you saw what the code breaker looked like.
Yeah.
No, I love that as a finishing maneuver here against Adam Revolver.
That was a great heads up ball on his part.
Yep.
To be able to flip out of that sleeper hold or flip Revolver over his shoulder, get out of that sleeper hold and hit him with the code breaker and put him away. That was classic.
There was a sense of urgency too when you go for a move like that. Hey, I don't have that much longer. Maybe I just need to get this over with now. You go up for a high risk maneuver like that because it could have if Adam Revolver, as we saw him do even earlier in the match, had some of these Anthony Toatelli moves scouted and backed away 2 feet.
That would have been a whole different story. But
right.
Yeah, he connected with a lot of higher flying maneuvers. Got a couple of good kicks to the head, and then the code breaker at the end. So very impressive win for Anthony Toatelli.
No, I've liked Toatelli since the moment I saw him, and I like him more every single week. Let's see the clip about Kal's cheese getting eaten by Mount Kadim. Mount Kadim
the other way around.
And Doug. Yeah, sorry.
There he is.
So Kal's in there eating cheese. Doug Basham, Mount Kadim.
Is that a charcuterie board?
Observe Kal. Yeah, dude, you gotta get those calories in, man. Wrestling's hard.
I mean, you've known me for 2 years.
Yeah.
You've known me for longer than that, Brian.
Indeed.
You know I love me some cheese.
You guys know I wrote a persuasive speech about cheese.
I tried to forget.
I would be mad as hell if I came in and you guys had eaten all my cheese.
But honestly, that's what I would. As Mount Kadim should have ran that cheese. That would have been hilarious. Mount Kadim just comes in and runs Kal Herro's cheese. That would have been so funny, dude.
Or just smack the cheese right out of his hand.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, look at him. I feel bad for him because he was really looking forward to that cheese.
Yeah, he was excited. He has a big appetite.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever looked more intimidating eating a charcuterie board than Kal Herro?
I think that needs to be a challenge. I think that we need to try to look even more menacing while posing with and enjoying a charcuterie board.
I'm sure, dude, they're on sale like all the time at the Kroger around the street.
I mean, it's just weird to see Kal Herro eating on camera.
I can't imagine that I guess he didn't have to wrestle this evening, but
still,
is dairy a good pre-wrestling meal?
It's a good anytime meal.
I don't know, man. This seems like, especially depending on what color shorts you're wearing, it might not be a good idea.
Where's KD Dunn when we need him?
I don't. Yeah, see, he would be the perfect person to ask. He would know.
I mean, I guess what can you say? Kal Herro hankers for a hunk of cheese.
And I'm just going to say it given that he is a Wisconsin native, I feel like this is an even more stinging thing to do. Like, I feel like that's a justification for murder in Wisconsin if you eat somebody's cheese.
We will have to consult the chicks of Wisco on that one.
Yeah, so what the Wisconsin, this is like the Wisconsin version of running someone's shoes. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Damn, that's tough. That's tough for Wisconsin.
Mm.
About 5 of the evening, Ashton Adonis versus Dustin Jackson.
This was a
rematch of sorts.
A rematch of sorts from last week, and I was really looking forward to this.
I was too. Ashton Adonis comes out with a head full of steam here. He knows he's got to be feeling a little embarrassed after last week.
Yeah, but I mean, you lose, you come back to fight another day.
But it's also kind of in line with the Ashton Adonis that we've seen recently. Is he goes a million miles an hour at the beginning of the match, sometimes even before the match has started, to try to gain an advantage.
Yeah.
Right. I guess this was kind of ultimately what we would have assumed, kind of a chalk Thursday night between Ashton Adonis and Dustin Jackson. Dustin Jackson has had a great media championship run so far, until the end of this match, where I was just as surprised as anyone.
Yeah, I didn't see this coming.
As Dustin Jackson is
Neither
about
did
to
he.
square this one away with Ashton Adonis, we see Brandon Beretta, who just got done working valet,
Yeah.
come and just toss Dustin Jackson all the way across the ring.
German suplex.
Brandon Beretta's got such a great suplex, man.
Yeah.
Huge release, too. Just toss Dustin Jackson all the way across the ring. And it seems as if Dustin Jackson or Brandon Beretta and Ashton Adonis have found a friendship between the two of each other.
Not only that, but they had a little help.
Well, not yet.
They do here in a minute.
Nope.
No?
That's later on. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, really?
No,
I thought
that
that was
is-
this match.
That's actually our next match.
Oh, I see.
So Dustin Jackson ends up taking this one home via disqualification.
Look at me foreshadowing things.
Well, and here's the funny thing is, like, Dustin Jackson was probably going to take this one home either which way. I don't know what Brandon Beretta, other than to make a statement, I don't know what Ashton Adonis and Brandon Beretta really stood to gain here by interrupting the match, other than to just say, hey, we got each other's back now, and we're coming for you.
I'm strictly business.
Yeah, and I'm strictly business.
Yeah, I actually, when I wrote this down, when I did the file for this, I said Brandon Beretta helps him win, and realized, no, that's not what happened. They just kind of interrupted the match for no reason.
Yeah, basically. But it kind of paid it to what my friend, my colleague, my co-host Brian Hines alluded to. It kind of does have a payoff inside of the hour, but didn't make a lot of, like, if we're just breaking it down to brass tacks, doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to make of that.
This is akin to Freya disqualifying herself.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's like,
just
what
like-
did I just watch and
like,
why?
yeah, I see why you guys are upset, but I don't know why you did what you did. Up next is a big ol' in-ring mic segment with Mount Kadeem.
Yeah.
And he's so good at this character. And I wonder if this was always kind of there, or if we just had to get the belt on Mount Kadeem before we figured out that he had this ability, like this whole full character was there, or because it does seem like he's changed a lot, and it does seem like he's talking a lot more, and I wonder if there's a part of me that's like, oh, that must have always been part of the plan, and maybe there's a part of me that's like, oh, Mount Kadeem might have just gotten here to like this point where he can do these things. But either way, he's very effective.
If he's just getting here, I'm here for it, because I love the Mount Kadeem promos.
Yeah, I love the I compared him to Dolomite. Like, that is who he is. Like, he's Rudy Ray Moore, dude. Like, he's got jokes. He goes on for days. He can ramble fill time, fill space without it ever sounding incoherent or making himself sound stupid. Like that. These are all skills, man.
No, he's
These are all
very
skills.
effective
Being able
on
to
the mic.
being able to talk like that without really like
Effortlessly?
Yes, is very, very, but not just effortlessly. All inside of this context.
Mm-hmm.
All inside of this very small kind of niche context of this character. He's not as broad of a heel as, like, let's say Tony Evans. Like, he's just not. He's not a, you guys shut up, yeah, you let me through this. Like, he's not a broad heel. He's not mean to his manager. He's not that kind of heel. He has to kind of, he's a heel that exists out of like power and influence, and that's a harder thing to pull off than it sounds. And he does it very, very well.
My favorite thing he said was when he was like, the reason I haven't beat up Kal yet is because I don't fight for free.
Because he does, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He's there about money. Like,
He doesn't give beatdowns for free.
he's a really, really very well tuned at this point character. And maybe it's just because I am like an old school like blaxploitation film guy. There is something very charming about this character too, because he does feel plucked out of that world. He does feel kind of just plucked out of a seedy 70s crime, like, and he's the big boss.
Yeah.
Like he's
pretty
so good at this, and I love it. And then of course Kal comes out. Cal's firmly in the heavyweight title picture now, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Yes.
The new music for Kal is amazing. How they took the fanny pack party music and kind of just reorganized it.
Well, what they did with it essentially is that trope that's so popular in movies right now, where they take a pop song and slow it down and put it in minor and play it over the back of a trailer for like an important movie.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that
I'm
phenomenon?
aware of that phenomenon. Yes.
That is essentially what the new Kal Herro Titantron is. We've instantly given Kal a level of gravity to something that you recognize as silly. We recognize the fanny pack kid as silly. Same way we might recognize one of these pop songs from one of these trailers as silly. But in the gravity of the situation, because it's slowed down and it makes reference to it and it's in minor or whatever, it works. Works really, really well. Kal basically puts it on the line to Mount Kadim. He didn't get beaten by Mount Kadim. The clock beat Kal Herro. Mount Kadim took home the victory. Kal Herro got counted out.
I mean, that's kind of a technicality, but yeah, correct.
I think also it is a technicality, but you're looking at this version of Kal Herro right now who is searching for something a little bit more, who wants something a little bit more, and is maybe grasping at things he wouldn't have necessarily grasped at before.
He probably wants something to wash down that cheese.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, dude, cheese
It
sit heavy on your stomach, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, I'm glad he didn't wrestle tonight. He would have had a tummy ache.
Yeah.
He'd have been a Logie. That's my favorite word.
I have never heard that word before.
And then, of course, the visual of Kal looking up at Kadim and Kadim staring down at Kal is like a very, very enticing and very powerful one, right?
Yeah. Like David versus Goliath.
Yes, and I couldn't help but think in the back of my head, oh, just go ahead and jump up there and give him a stand and go right now. Just go ahead. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be so cool? Whenever I first started learning about wrestling, the way that baby faces and heels were explained to me is a baby face does cool things, and a heel's job is to stop the baby face from doing cool things. And the entire payoff for you investing yourself in a babyface run is to see them do a cool thing. Maybe that cool thing is winning the championship. In this case, the cool thing is Kal Herro hitting even without the championship. In this case, for me, the cool thing is to watch Kal Herro jump up and give Mount Kadim a stand and go. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. Just so happens that the championship will be involved in it. It'll be a good moment, and everyone will cry, and we'll throw banners, or what we throw, streamers, right?
Yeah. Ticker tape parade.
And it'll be fun, and it'll be great, and I can't wait to be there, and Kal Herro will have deserved it. But for me, I don't need the streamers. I just want to see the stand and go on Mount Kadim.
Maybe instead of streamers or confetti, they'll throw cheese samples. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to let you take this next one away because you already alluded to it.
Ah, I see. So our next bout is Anthony Katina versus one half of the former OVW Tag Team Champions in the form of Luscious Lawrence. It's good to see Lawrence back out there again. I'm sorry to hear about Omar. I hope that he heals and he's back in the OVW locker room soon. But for now, we still get Luscious Lawrence.
Yeah, and Luscious Lawrence
with cream in tow.
Luscious Lawrence against Anthony Katina here. I had a thought while I was watching this match, and it really put Anthony Katina in context for me. is Anthony Katina is very good at arriving on someone else's level, right? Anthony Katina is very good at kind of playing the other person's, and I mean this like in the meta. Can we see the first clip here? And I mean, like, I know that we're about to talk about butts, but I do mean this, like, and I think it's a sincere compliment, and I think that it really, really gives Anthony Katina this like this different level where he can work with other people. He leaned in wholeheartedly to the silliness of getting slapped in the butt, right? He took it. He acknowledged it. That's not something a lot of people have done with Luscious Lawrence.
Nobody to my knowledge, at least during our time as a podcast.
There's another instance
that smile with the tug gets me every time.
That's
what got me to laugh.
There's another instance here about that also concerns Luscious's posterior. Whenever he has him up in the corner, we've seen him do it 1,000 times. Where
the buffet.
Anthony Katina, instead of just allowing his head to get shoved repeatedly into Luscious's butt, is full on like back and forth, like taking both hands when he gets shoved forward and slapping Luscious's butt cheeks, like to sell the maneuver. So just like really again acknowledging like this guy's posterior is his offense, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I need to be on that level. I need to acknowledge that. And then, of course, when Katina gave the wedgie as well. These are all things that we haven't seen other people do on Luscious Lawrence. A lot of other heels, when they're messing with Luscious Lawrence, just kind of find him to be a nuisance. I realized in this match that's what's made Anthony Katina really, really good on this run so far, is that he's able to play to everyone else's strengths and embrace everyone else's strengths. And in small ways, but in overall very large ways.
In this case, he goes straight for the source of Luscious Lawrence's power, and that is that ass.
He does. But it's not enough. In fact, Adonis and Beretta break up the match. Can we go ahead and see that? This is what we were thinking about earlier.
Yeah.
I also love the visual, too, of both of these guys by the end of their match with their hair down, like, because they've just fought so hard that they, you know.
I was thinking that, too. I don't ever remember really seeing Luscious with his hair down in a match a whole lot.
So we see Adonis and Beretta come out. Adonis now dressed in all black.
They look like they're security at a strip club, and they were asking you to leave.
Well, I mean,
it's
never happened to me.
I wanted to ask him for water. Like, hey, can I get a glass of water?
Excuse me. Some more breadsticks, please.
Yes. I do have a question about Ashton Adonis. Is wearing shorts or wearing long pants that are a little too short for you and not wearing socks, is that a good look?
Is it a good look for anybody?
Serious question. Like, I think some dudes could pull it off, some dudes can't. I think Ashton Adonis kind of pulls it off.
I guess so.
But yeah, they both kind of do look like they have been running security or doing stage tech or valet parking.
Stage tech, there you go.
There it is.
Doing something,
Knew it was something, but yeah, that's it.
It's very funny. They beat up Luscious Lawrence, and there's this kind of, as you've seen in wrestling 1,000 times, there's this will they, won't they, are they here for both of them, is this, you know. And of course, Katina joins up with Adonis and Beretta.
You think it'll be you think it's a new faction?
Yes, and I love it.
Yeah.
I think that we needed a group of bad guys that were at the Revolution.
Yeah.
I think that these three guys have been looking for a little bit more out of their role at OVW, and through each other, I think that they can find it.
This is the perfect outfit for them.
Yes.
Love this super kick.
Oh, Anthony Katina's got a super kick on him now. No, I think this is going to be really good stuff. I think this is going to be really, really good stuff. I think that they need a true big man.
I wonder who that would be.
I don't know.
I have an idea.
Who's yours? You want to say it on 3?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Big
Donovan
Zo.
Cecil.
Oh, I like yours better. You win. Take the point. Take your point. Go ahead and give yourself a point on that one.
And by the way, the tiebreaker, I was thinking Donovan Cecil too. So yes.
No, yours is better than mine. Yours is way better than mine.
We'll
I left some money on the table on that one.
Did we happen to have a clip of the tornado DDT off the top rope?
No, unfortunately, I missed that. I'm sorry.
Okay, that point you just got?
It's fine. I don't live on points.
So this evening, as we alluded to earlier, was kind of full of talking segments. That's not a bad thing, because we did see not only Star Rider's manifesto, but we see Cash Daniel is interviewed by Linda Kay. They're calling it Kay's Corner, right?
Really?
Are they? I didn't
That's
hear
what
that.
That's what I'm pretty sure that I caught that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Good for you, Linda Kay.
And then, of course, if you haven't seen the end of the episode yet, you would think that we're going to get a fairly straightforward contract signing, but that's not what happens. Cash Daniel here. We know that OVW isn't just a Kentucky-based thing. We know that OVW has fans all over the world who don't care about SEC football, don't care about Wildcats, don't care about Cash Daniel until probably after tonight.
Yeah.
Cash Daniel had a lot riding on this promo. He did. There's just kind of no world where people don't feel what's the word I want to look for? Cash Daniel's famous inside of the state. Cash Daniels is getting a put on poster.
He's local famous, not international famous.
He's getting put on a poster. He's getting put on TV. He's, there's just wrestling's very competitive, man.
It is.
Wrestling's very competitive. And I think that Cash knew that he had a lot riding on this promo. Because if he's going to be critiqued so much under a finer microscope than almost anybody else is.
Especially for this episode, yes.
And that's just the truth by not only fans, but by people in the locker room, people he shares the locker room with. And, that's just the truth, right? Cash Daniel had a lot to prove here. How do you think he did?
I mean, when he sat down to talk to us, as soon as the mic went on, he basically cut the best promo out of any interview I think we've done. And it wasn't more of an interview. It was almost like a 20-minute promo.
And this was more of the same, really.
I'd like to think we were helping him tune up when he came to talk to us.
That guy don't need no help.
Well, and let's break it down from the meta, for people that don't watch football, American football, don't know what college football is, don't know what the SEC is. The SEC, Southeastern Conference in football, is the most competitive football, probably even above the NFL. If we're just if we're just being fair about it, SEC football is incredibly intimidating and incredibly hard. UK, at the time that Cash Daniel was around, was really, really, really trying to rebuild their program, and he was one of their biggest stars. He was out there with a microphone in front of his face all the time. So let's look at that for a second. Cash Daniel went through a media training that probably no one else on the roster short of Mount Kadeem has been through.
Yeah.
Because UK does not slouch in their sports department.
No, this is still UK sports. Make fun of our football team, we probably deserve it. But Cash Daniel was getting media lessons from the same people that were training future NBA stars and future Olympians and current Olympians. So he was getting grade A huge media training. Not only that, he was getting grade A sports and nutrition training. This guy's just been on a different level, both with the ability to speak and just overall training and muscle building and athleticism that a lot of other people at OVW just haven't come from.
So very few people in general.
Right. And there's a lot of talent. there's a lot of very extremely athletic, talented people at OVW, and not a single one of them would tell you that the SEC isn't a joke or that,
Yeah.
They all know how hard it is to exist in that arena as well. And all of that kind of culminated here with this. All of that kind of culminated here with Cash Daniel. It's a shame that we're not going to be able to make it out to Pikeville. I wish the kid the best of luck. I think that they've chose the absolute best foil for him in Tony Evans here.
Absolutely.
Tony Evans can talk him into the building. Tony Evans has the ability to put anybody down. He's, especially in a place like Pikeville, a guy coming there talking like that, people ain't going to stand for that. And especially whenever they know that one of their guys is about to come up and shut them up, right?
Yeah, I can't think of a better matchup, a better rivalry for this event.
Truly.
Perfect participants, perfect place, perfect time.
I truly think so.
Yeah.
And that was evidenced even more so over by the interaction that Tony and Cash had here, where, Tony Evans kind of comes to try to dress Cash Daniels down, shoves him, tries to go back in to put him down some more, and Cash takes one shove to send Tony all the way across the ring, out the ring.
Out the ring, yeah.
That's going to be a heck of a match. It's going to be a heck of a moment. I am sincerely sad that we are going to miss it. And I hope to see more of Cash Daniel. And I think, again, this promo really took him past local celebrity, ex-football player. I think it took him past all of those things.
He's on the world stage now.
Yeah, I think it took him to, I'm a wrestler at OVW.
And
not
all only that, he came to play and he looks like he belongs. He sounds like he belongs.
And there's for him, there's an element, and you could tell even when we were talking to him, that all that other stuff is in the past. OVW is the present, and I'm going to give it the commitment that I've given everything else in my life.
And I think he's the future.
I do. He's just kind of got it, man.
Yeah.
He just kind of got it in a big, big way. All right, let's wrap up here. Let's talk about the final segment of the evening. Should have been, as I alluded to earlier, we're spoiling stuff left and right all over the place on this Tuesday. Should have been a fairly straightforward contract signing for Sophia Rose and J-Rod ahead of the tables match out at Appalachian Armageddon in Pikeville.
Nope. Nope.
No such thing.
Do you know what this reminded me of? This reminded me of Peter Griffin versus the Chicken.
Not bad. Okay. Yeah, I think that's one everyone has a reference for.
Yeah, just a walking beat down that goes from backstage through the doorway, down the ramp, to the ring.
Eric Cornish gets hit again for the second time in a
Good
handful
God,
of
man.
weeks. He's really got to pay that boy more.
Yeah.
Can we see the fight backstage, please? The fight that kind of Eric introduces them to the stage.
Come on, man.
He's already confused. And J-Rod and Sophia are backstage mollywopping each other, to steal Star Rider's language. I've got to also hand it to J-Rod for being able to get around on those heels for as long as she did. Because those things, by the time she took them off and starts hitting Sophia in the face with them, and you realize how massive they are, I'm just like, golly.
I thought she took off her shoe and hit her with it. And the first thing in my mind was Austin Powers. Like, who throws a shoe, honestly?
The first thing in my mind was, we're about to see Sophia get some blood hard way, because the end of a stiletto is not forgiving.
No.
Like, I had a serious moment where I was like, oh no, do I actually have it in my heart of hearts to see Sophia Rose bleed? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see her like get hurt.
No.
You know, like, but that's a testament to how kind of intimidating J-Rod is and how great Sophia's been.
Yeah.
That as a wrestler and as a champion, I don't even want to see her get hurt. You know what I mean?
You really don't.
Well, she's just a great baby face like that. That's a quality that you can't ask for any more of in a baby face, is to literally have people wincing when they think that their person might be injured.
And we winced.
Yeah, definitely. Getting hit with the stiletto is no joke, man. Don't ask me how I know. The entire point of this thing, though, is we're heading to a tables match in Pikeville. Sophia got put through a table last week. She's looking for a little bit of revenge. We go through, 3 tables here to try to get to the one that actually works?
Yeah.
Or the one that they end up getting put through. I shouldn't say actually worked. They all stood at one point. Can we see that? Sophia Rose smart enough to push out J-Rod and the big spear. Perfect.
So did anybody actually sign the contract? They didn't, did they?
I don't believe so.
I didn't think so. So our prediction from the fan zone last week was false.
Well, we got one of them right. Somebody did go through a table.
Yeah, we got that one, but the other part, not so much.
No, good stuff here. Good stuff from OVW. A little bit differently paced than it has been in the past few weeks, but still a lot of meat on the bone, even with 2 long-standing talking segments in hour 1 and in hour 2, and not as many matches as we usually would see on an OVW Thursday night. Still a lot of meat on the bone here.
It was one of those episodes where it's equal parts action, equal parts storytelling.
Yes, yeah. And a lot of good stuff. Go watch, everybody go watch that Eric Surge match. Eric Surge and Loud and Lawless. Actually, go watch it. This was actually, I have a hard time choosing a favorite match.
I mean,
Up until the end, if it had gone to a clean finish, might have been Katina and Luscious just because it was funny to me.
yeah.
You know, it was good stuff. I guess we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for listening. For everyone here at the Blimp and the OVW podcast, my name is Jack Minogues.
I'm Brian Hines.
For Tiny Brian, for Malachi P.S. Woodard and Victor Anderson, we are out.